All right, welcome everybody. And unlike Cliff Kingsbury, someone still has a job. Here's your commissioner, Eric Patton.
Hey, hello, Mike D. Hello, Laemmle Leaguers. Welcome to the show, everybody. Mike D, thank you for having me as once again, as you have had me so many times into the Mike D multi-universe.
You're welcome, and this is going to be exciting.
It's good to be here. Joined as always by our trusted friend Grant Peterson. Grant, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you as always for including me. It's nice to be here.
Our condolences go to Cliff Kingsbury. It's funny, at the beginning of the season, one of the early episodes, he was giving the camera crew sort of a tour of his house, and he commented on how there was no furniture at all because he liked to keep an open layout. But he even joked at the time it was also partly because as an NFL coach, you never know when you're going to have to move.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yep.
So, all right, it's been a long, strange end of the season. What went into your thought process and how to take the unfortunate situation of Damar Hamlin's situation, which we all thought about him most of the time.
Yeah.
And then once he gave us the thumbs up and asked who won the game, we moved forward and kind of explained to everyone how you move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that did feel good when news came out that he was asking about the game, right? It felt like made it okay for us to talk about it again. Obviously our fantasy football world, and the problems of it pale in comparison to what was going on in the real world. But we did have some decisions to make, both the first place game as well as the third place game. Which both had money on the line, were incomplete. We were going into Monday Night Football. Parker needed about 12, 13, 14 points from Gabriel Davis, which is definitely within reach for him. And I needed about 11 points from Jamar Chase, which is certainly in reach for him. So we needed to decide on how we were going to go forward. Basically, I presented a few options to the league. We could either call it a 0 because the game was canceled and there were no statistics. We could use the season averages from the guys who weren't able to play and plug those numbers in as their Week 17 scores. Or we could use scores from a later date still to be played, either Week 18 or round one of the playoffs, since both of those teams were already destined to be in the playoffs. I don't know. Did either of you have any strong feelings about any of those options?
I'll let you go first, Grant, because I was on THC and misread the email. You have any opinions? Oh, I think you're on mute. Are you on mute?
We've lost Grant.
Yeah, no, there we are. Sorry. I muted it. No, I had nothing to offer in the sense because I feel like my league was already done. But the difficulty presents itself in such a way that it's like you don't. I feel like the 0. Part of me was like, well, that's okay, we'll just do a 0 that way. I don't know. I feel like still trying to make something out of making it work in some way. But part of me also, like, I wouldn't want to add, if I was in the situation that you were in, whether it's a commissioner or someone who was vying for the title, it's like, I don't want to, taking a step back from all of it, it just felt like very selfish in a way of like, this is a stupid game that we are having. And I'm like, this is like, fine, let's just call it and split it down the middle. We'll just, that was something that my girlfriend's league, that's what they ended up, like it was an even split because they were in a Yahoo league. And I think the way you guys handled it, I think was very admirable and just difficult. And again, not trying to like make it overly serious too, because it's just like it's a fantasy game.
No, of course.
Yeah,
but with money on the line, I felt like
Yes.
it did warrant at least a discussion, and to we handled as best we could.
And not like there was $3,500 or $6,500 running on this, or there's some leagues where
Right.
just
But I guess
I was in the league like that.
Also, my thing was like, this isn't a public forum or anything. This is a private thing, and what are we hurting Damar Hamlin in some way if we talk about our fantasy football league? I don't think we are.
No.
So I guess I didn't feel like we were doing anything disrespectful by eventually figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean the real NFL had to do that, so
right,
and it took them quite some time to figure it out themselves. So, I mean that game wasn't canceled for a while. And, we were just waiting for some news. But like I said, once we got the news, you kind of just have to figure out, just like the NFL figured out. And now that I know what you did, it's I think it's a great idea because you're getting people playing at full, for playing for something and playing for someone. And you're just going to say, if they play, they're in, and you know what's going on. You agree. Like I've said a couple of times during this thing is I was in a few different leagues that everyone did 3 different things. And not one of them, all 3 were wrong. You got to do what you got to do.
Yep. Definitely no perfect way to handle it. But,
no, but I'll bring it up again. Just so I say, you go to World Cup soccer, take all the rosters off, put up 5 kickers on each team, let them kick field goals in week 18 because they play 100% all the time. They never quit. They never go away.
It's true. And that's true. Although sometimes they're forced to quit because they've missed so many extra points that the coach will not even use them any longer. So they have to go away.
Even the commentators are looking on in pain. Just no.
The Manning cast was priceless. I don't know if anyone saw that. That was good stuff.
I watched a little bit of it. I left after prime time. Prime time was like,
was flipping out. Why are we even kicking it anymore? And by the way, Brett Maher, the number 1 fantasy kicker, the number 1 kicker in all of fantasy football, for whatever that's worth. They're very close margins, but still, a lot of it depends on playing for a high scoring offense, but. Number 1 fantasy kicker. That's for whatever that's worth.
I have to look into that betting. Maybe he was trying to cover the spread there.
And it brings the question too, like what happens this week? Like
they're trying out kickers from what I heard.
That's what I heard. Yeah. It's like,
who needs that? Just go for 2. Come on now. But like I've heard so many times, it's probably will come down to him. In a tie game to try to win it, and he's going to miss it.
See, I don't know why, when they went for it on 4th down on that occasion at the end of the game, it's like, I don't know. I thought that was a good opportunity to show, hey, we still believe in you. Go kick a real field goal. Let him get some confidence, But, maybe that was the idea. Like he hadn't missed field goals. He was missing extra points. So we wanted to give him a chance to kick another extra point. So I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
So my other follow-up question is, you guys obviously agreed to these terms and let the best man win, and how'd that play out, and how'd you keep track of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I put it out and everybody to an email, or to everybody in an email rather, and most of the responses I got, were indifferent. I think everyone wanted. It seemed like everyone who responded felt like the points should still be counted somehow. Like nobody wanted to take a 0. It didn't seem like, or nobody thought like that was how we should resolve it. And then Parker chimed in with the opinion that it was not fair to use Week 18 stats because the team might not be going all out, whereas in the first round of the playoffs, they obviously would be, and playing all their guys and playing them at full speed and whatnot. So he suggested that. Justin sort of seconded the notion. I reached out to both Apted and Christie, who were most directly affected by this decision since they were both in the lead of their respective games, while their opponents still had players that didn't get a chance to play. And both of them felt like it was totally fair to use the first round of the playoffs. And so that's what we did. And I got to tell you, like, Christie and Apted could not have been more affable, could not have been more like good-natured and good sports about it. They both just wanted to do what, everyone thought was fair. And, that's kind of what I was trying to do as well.
Well, yeah, congratulations on handling that. And congratulations on the being a champ, huh?
Yeah,
Champion.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll take it. So that leads us right in. Let's talk about the matchup now. Let's get down to the reason that so many people subscribe to this show, and that's for the fantasy football.
That's right.
That's right. Top, So yeah, let's get to the title game, the Laemmle Bowl. Myself and Apted. Okay, here's the deal with this game. We can talk all we want about Jamar Chase and when he played and when he was going to get his points and what. But this game, the breakdown of this game really comes down to two players. And unfortunately for Apted, they were both on his squad. And I think they both let down a lot of fantasy football managers in the championship game. And that was Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce. The number one wide receiver and the number one tight end, combined for 9.8 points. Combined. Unthinkable. One catch and 15 yards for Justin Jefferson. Wow.
Way to go, Justin.
I mean, that's really what it all comes down to. If either of them, if just one of them, reaches their season average, Apted beats me handily.
Yeah. It's let's take a look. I'm looking on my phone. I have a whole new studio set up, and I forgot to bring my iPad as my eyes, so I'm using my phone. Yeah, so Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson. Yeah,
so
it all comes down.
Yeah, if you start at the bottom there, I mean, we're tied with the kicker. He beats me on defense. He beats me in flex, and then it goes from there.
Yeah. And you had, and I obviously, Jamar Chase, and there was kind of no question. Momentum was going in with Cincinnati there. Buffalo for Josh Allen hasn't been playing his best. He's been turning the ball over, so you can see the Bengals taking advantage of that. And Jamar Chase is pumped up and fired up. So.
Well, I mean, one thing or another, that game I feel like was going to be an absolute shootout. And so I think, either way, anyone who had players in that game were going to score a ton of points. That's just the way I feel about it. And I actually think that would have been a more high scoring game than, either of the other two that followed it. But yeah, anyway, Apted, that's really what it comes down to. Everyone else played pretty well for him. Godwin, did 120 yards off 9 catches. Nick Chubb went for 104 yards, but luckily for me, didn't get in the end zone. Zeke only went for 37, did fall into the end zone. Everyone was solid except for Jefferson and Kelce, man. And it's so funny because I was in another league of mine. I was in the semifinals, and my opponent also had Jefferson and Kelce. So like I couldn't have gotten luckier as far as timing of when to play those two guys.
I mean, what was what was your? Sorry, my glasses are really bad right now. I'm going to switch here to the regular. Okay, there we go. You had Mark Andrews, which was going with not a bad backup quarterback, but not the greatest after that.
The Andrews matchup was an interesting one because I've been sort of kicking myself all season for not drafting Travis Kelce. I decided early on that I was going to build through tight end in the draft, and I really thought Andrews. I thought Lamar Jackson was going to have an unbelievably huge year. So I thought Andrew was going to be a big benefactor of that. So, if going into the matchup, it felt like, oh, now I'm going to lose. All season I've sort of kicked myself in the ass for picking the wrong tight end, and now it's going to culminate in costing me the fantasy football championship, because everything you heard going into this was like people were forecasting Kelce to just have a monster game. Apparently, Denver gives up a lot of points to tight ends.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is going to be so fitting that I lose because of Travis Kelce. But then somehow, Mark Andrews doubles his score. It's just weird. It's just a weird happenstance is really what it comes down to. And that's sort of fantasy football in a nutshell, really.
Yeah, no, that's why we play, and that's why we put our hard-earned cash in the pot to see what happens on normally week 17, but this case is the wild card round.
Maybe week 19 in this case, right?
Yeah.
If you want to make, there's no better argument I can make against the validity of my win, more so than look at my bench. Look at the decisions that I made. I left about 80 points on my bench. I got Daniel Jones going for 36. I've been so frustrated with the Detroit backfield that I just didn't play either of them, and they both went off.
But once again, that is what we experience week to week, where it's like you see 60, 80, maybe a little more sometimes on the bench, where it's like, oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, the people that's had Tom Brady that week, I think he had like a 50.
Yeah, that was Christy, who we'll cover next week. In the next round, she had Tom Brady on her bench this week.
Oh, and everyone was starting Jared Goff, which
he played well.
Yeah, no, it was that was interesting because then you get I had Seattle, and then they get in with all the math was being worked, and it seems like years ago, but yes, it was very exciting for week 17.
Similar to Apted, Jefferson, I made the mistake in naively thinking that once again Kirk Cousins would show up, and he did as a failure.
Dun dun dun.
I every time he's on my bench, I'm like, oh wow, look at that. Thielen and Cousins just had a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Doing nothing for me. That's a final week. Let's see. Almost, yeah. No. Nope.
So here's my third follow-up question. So, we should just go down the road. You're the champion. Who's in second place? Who took second place?
Well, that would be Apted.
So Apted, and then who took third?
That's Parker.
Okay, and the money's 1, 2, 3, right?
When money is 1, 2, 3, yeah. So we'll cover Parker and Christy in the next game for sure. Let me just say though, fantastic season to John Apted. He was the first place leader from wire to wire for the entire regular season. He was the scoring leader by, I think, about 150 points. He was the scoring leader by a lot of points.
Yeah.
So it's a little unexplainable how Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce didn't show up for him, but luckily for me they didn't. And but terrific game, John. Terrific season to you. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. You could have been like back to back to back asterisk, or back to back to back paper champion. There's lots of stuff going around in the fantasy football for those people that won championships this year with Bills and Bengals players. It will be interesting next year to see the names, and also contingency plans to what if something like this happens, whether it's that or anything that happens in the world that a game gets canceled.
Such a rare thing, it was such a it's such a rare thing. It's been so long. I think they said it's been like since the 30s that an NFL game was canceled.
Yeah, I mean, even during COVID, they had that contingency plan in place if people couldn't play full schedules, and that they're going to do like I think the coin flip and all that other stuff that possibly could happen.
Right.
But the only thing that was 100% predictable was a 28-point or 24-point lead at halftime for the Chargers, and for them to lose. So I put that in the bank right then. I turned it off at halftime. I was like, they're not winning this game.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we move on to the third place game then?
So I'm going to look at what am I looking at here?
That'll be Team Parker versus Team CT.
Okay, and that's the correct score?
That is the correct score. The only thing that's missing is Gabe Davis's individual box score. I don't have it in front of me, but I feel like he was like 20 or 22 or so. He had a big day in the first round of the playoffs. And it was enough for Parker to leapfrog Christie into the third place victory.
Congratulations. Number
Mr.
3.
Parker.
Number 3. That's so you were able to actually go in and make it a final score of
that's part of the league manager toolkit. You can go in and adjust any score for the record. So keep that in mind going forward, Laemmle Leaguers. Do not get on my bad side, because I do have the power to just change your score.
Yeah,
that is within my authority.
I'm going to screenshot everything from now on. every Tuesday morning.
Sleeper allowed you to do that. So
Team Parker was actually ended up being led by Gabriel Davis a couple weeks after the fact. But beyond that, Travis Etienne had a big day for him with 100 yards and a touchdown. He's a solid player. Throughout today's episode, we should start to talk about who we think the top players in next season's draft, who are going to be the highest drafted players. And you got to think Travis Etienne, has worked himself into, if not a first round, maybe a second or at least third round pick.
Yeah.
I
mean, he's on his own. He's there. He's in a good system. And then you have
Jags going to be a popular team next year. I think there's going to be a lot of Jacksonville Jaguars targeted next season.
I feel, because you're going to have Ridley there, another weapon at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be great. In the sleeper league, they've already made available the rookies that are going to be drafted in the NFL rookies that are going to be up there. And this is a highly touted. So I'll be interested to see in this league who takes rookie running backs and rookie quarterbacks, and to see the shuffle that happens. CJ Stroud and players like that who get picked. And there you go, Grant. You can replace Kirk Cousins with CJ Stroud. There you go.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I'll find something else to harp on for next season. Cousins, he served his purpose well.
You have Garoppolo, Brock Purdy. Much has happened since we last spoke. I know, it's great.
Yeah, is Jimmy G going to go to Vegas?
Jimmy G's going somewhere, that's for sure. Not Vegas. Well, maybe Vegas. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. They're going to go after Brady pretty hard, it sounds like. But
yeah,
Jimmy. There's a lot of places Jimmy G could end up. A lot of teams need a quarterback out there, but
he's back. He's ready. He's going to be QB2.
What's that?
He's going to be QB2 here in the playoffs. He's back.
Oh, Jimmy is?
Yeah, he is.
I didn't even know that.
Be a backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly lost his job to Brock Purdy.
But if Purdy gets hurt, we got to do a Tanya Harding investigation of what this guy's really doing here.
Right.
I mean, it would have been, I don't want to say like this is maybe a little bit too dark, but J.J. Watt's final game.
Yeah.
Takes Purdy down hard.
That's right.
Could have been. It would have made that final episode of Hard Knocks that much more. Give it a little more left, like just leave on a good mark.
I mean, we could talk about that a little bit. That was great. That was a great episode. It had everything you needed in it.
I recommended it to someone of like, I haven't watched that season. I'm like, just watch the last episode. You'll be good. There's some other good parts, but yeah. But to your point though, too, of like Purdy, he's flying high for now.
Yeah, for sure. Flying high for Team Parker, in addition to Travis Etienne and Gabe Davis. Aaron Jones gave him 111 yards, 12 fantasy points. I know Parker was missing that the week before. Didn't do much for him in the semifinals, but bounced back with a decent game for him against the Lions.
Yes, let's see. It was I mean, Gardner. Who played against the Lions?
Packers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't exactly the shootout a lot of fantasy football managers had expected, but in that last game, but it was a little bit of fun for anybody interested in that division. Christian Watson didn't do much in that game, only giving Parker 1.6 fantasy points.
Yeah, that was wow. That was something. That was a way to go out with the. That was very disappointing. I was very disappointed in whole Brett. I almost said Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers, kind of just waving to the crowd. He's another one who might be on another team.
Yeah, I mean, you did a little Freudian slip there with Brett Favre. History maybe repeating itself with Rodgers now.
Yeah, maybe he'll go to Minnesota. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be great. So Christy, missed out on the third place money, and you got to think she's going to be kicking herself all season. Trevor Lawrence only gave her 4.48 points from the quarterback position, and that hurts, but especially hurts when you've got the GOAT giving you almost 40 on your bench. Tom Brady threw 432 yards and had 4 total touchdowns, including a rushing touchdown. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah.
Where was he? Where was he last night? Or it was last night, was it? But, yeah, it was. An 8-9 team coming in. They needed that. They needed that to win. So, but it was. I liked how Lawrence was playing. So, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Hard to blame her. I mean, it really is. If you look at their games going in, I mean, before that, it was for Lawrence, it was 25, 33, 26, 18. He was having some solid games, and Brady's been playing horrible. 11, 16, 10, 17. So yeah, it's hard to fault Christy. I mean, hindsight's 2020, of course, but that's just brutal.
Yeah, it's a tough week when you get week 17 and you have the Raiders. You got the Raiders minus Carr. I forgot the guy's name. All of a sudden that started, and Devontae Adams gets going. Jacobs is all right. Yeah.
And Devontae Adams, speaking of Brady, perhaps a couple of his future teammates were on Christie's roster. Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. Huge day for Devontae. 7 catches, 153, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you might just keep the Raider family intact there with the with Tom Brady.
That'd be fun, man. That's people are gonna be out talking about that in the offseason. I mean, Josh McDaniels got the best out of that guy for a long time. So you got to think there's something in him that maybe thinks you can get one more season out of him. And look at all that talent that there. I mean, offensively, they are now what Tampa Bay was before Brady went to Tampa Bay. They don't have the defense that the Bucs had,
Yeah.
but they've got the offense. I mean,
for
Josh
sure.
Jacobs, Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, stack that up with any threesome in the league, and they're right there with them.
Well, we'll find out this weekend on Fox whether Tom if he takes the Fox job, and I'm sure they'll throw him on anyways and give him his call it a bonus.
Yeah, I wonder.
I mean, I'm sure Mark Davis would be very happy to have Tom Brady because all his grousing about there's not enough Raiders gear in the arena, and like, it's like there's too many opponents here, and it's like you're in Las Vegas where people travel to for 24 to 36 hours. So
yeah, plus it's also a transient
city for sure.
Yeah,
it's like LA. It's the same thing when when the Cowboys play the Rams. It's 99% Cowboy fans, and it's the Cowboys out. So you got to expect that. You should have stayed in Oakland, man.
Yeah, shouldn't have left, but you get the GOAT there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Could be interesting. Yeah, could be very interesting.
Yeah, very exciting. Like, let's see. I started off the season. This is our 16th or 17th show of the season, and I wanted Matt Rule gone. He's gone.
Coach Killer Doherty.
Unfortunately, I think Staley's going to give another year, but we'll see.
He's surviving. Yeah, they're getting rid of the OC, right? And maybe defensive coordinator too.
Yeah. So we'll see, and it would be exciting to see where Sean Payton lands, and that's going to, wherever you see Sean Payton land, that's where you kind of want to maybe draft a quarterback there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll depend squarely on how far Dallas gets in the playoffs, right? I mean, not far enough, and he goes to Dallas. If they get far enough, maybe he goes somewhere else. I don't know.
You got to put it like, a lot of people are talking this morning that there needs to be a rule in the NFL if you're under 500, you can't be in the playoffs. So that wasn't a playoff team. The Dallas should have beat them. So we'll find out for real next round whether or not they're able to beat. Yeah,
no doubt,
they're a good team.
Yeah. So Team Parker was definitely a good team, and he proved it this season with a third place finish. Congratulations to you, Team Parker.
Yeah, congratulations.
Why don't we wrap up your game, Mike D? Let's jump into Team Jones versus number 3, which also gives me an opportunity to ask you what that means.
That was back when I changed that later. I changed that probably a week ago. So that number 3 was for DeMar Hamlin. I forgot who I was.
There we go. All right.
Forgot who I was.
Is that DeMar in the picture?
Yeah, it says college at Pitt. That's him at Pitt. I can't remember who I was. I don't remember who I am anymore, man.
So, and I mentioned this in the email that I was going to focus mainly in concern of the Buffalo and Cincinnati players that didn't play on Monday night. We were going to sort of focus just on the first and third place games because they had the money behind them.
Yeah.
Your game was heavily affected here, Mike D. Although, you missed Josh Allen and Joe Mixon, and you still have a 5-point lead. Now, I mean, look, Curtis still had Singletary going, but Singletary doesn't really put up the kind of points that Josh Allen and Joe Mixon do. So I feel like it's safe to say that you were in good position to win there.
Yeah, and either way, I had Joe Burrow as my backup, so there are zeros there. And I also have, hey man, if we're gonna do the playoffs, we should have just thrown, Barkley. Barkley played a lot better the other night this weekend than he did versus Indy, but it's 38-10. I was hoping to see, because I have I know McCaffrey was going to play a lot, and I thought Barkley had to play a lot. But, Drake London probably wants to play for Desmond Ridder, young quarterback, 2 rookies, show them. And then my guy Juwan Johnson shows up every game. He's my team MVP this year. I handed out awards earlier this season.
All right.
Christian Kirk, comeback player.
Christian Kirk. I mean, talk about MVP. If you ask me, that's your MVP right there.
Yeah, and it was it was crazy. I don't think I will draft Josh Allen next year. I will say that. I will look for another arm to guide me through the fantasy season next season.
Okay. All right. There's a lot of different theories about quarterback. There's a lot of strategies on how to approach it. It's also, it's early. We got a long way to go till the next draft, but it's good to think about what you might be doing. We got an email. The league got an email from Justin earlier today talking about how he was getting a new whiteboard and laser pointers, and he's getting ready to start prepping for next season already. So we love it.
Let's it's 24/7 for me. It's Hard Knocks 24/7 in the Mike DC universe. So,
do you think is Christian Kirk the guy who surprised you the most?
Yeah, not so much surprised. I feel like he did what he was capable of doing. Kind of coming off of Hopkins, and then at the time Green was still kind of relevant. So he kind of was a third check down. But now that we know inside and out about the Arizona Cardinals, I sure the hell would have gotten the hell out of there and said, yeah, I can play, so please give me the money. Cliff Kingsbury's not that shootout guy.
I mean, can we just look? There's been 2 in-season Hard Knocks so far, and last one, the Indianapolis Colts melted down and lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars in the last game of the season to be kept out of the playoffs. And in this in-season Hard Knocks, the Cardinals absolutely imploded. Is anyone going to ever? I mean, I know every NFL team has to do it at one point, but no one's going to ever want to do an in-season one again.
No, I know, but I think it's. I don't know if they signed a contract, whether it's mandatory like it is for preseason, but you got to go. I mean, those ratings had to have been great. I mean, come on, that was something. I will say, inside. Go ahead, Grant.
No, I mean, I agree, and also it was one of those just sort of serendipitous collapses of a team that was beginning the season as like, oh no, this is going to be good, but then injury. Like, oh hey, let's watch Kyler Murray's knee go out in really beautifully shot, like NFL film style. Like, here we go. Like, and then just one thing after another, and it's like you couldn't write that better unless they were
just
manufacturing this reality show. But the Colts one was pretty good in its own right because Carson Wentz and Frank Reich, it was
exactly.
And I mean, if you there's a 50-50 chance if you are the coach of in-season Hard Knocks, you are going to be fired by the conclusion of this season.
I was just going all in. Right. If we're going to do this, I'm going all in. It seemed like Kingsbury was like, let's do a soundbite, and he left the same way. Hey, you guys sure? Okay, all right. Take care. See ya.
Yep,
I'm out of here.
Right. Not exactly warm. It's hard to feel too bad. I mean, he's young. He's going to get an offensive coordinating job immediately.
Isn't he going to go back to college for a bit? Yeah.
Well, no, I've been promoting. Get the band back together. Go back to the Rams. Go get Staley. Have him go back to the Rams.
Sure, the McVay coaching tree all comes back to the McVay.
Get that tree back together.
He did. Hey, coach and staff, you're free to go.
That was fun.
I'm staying. I had to get rid of these guys.
One final note on Hard Knocks, it's always been sort of controversial, the idea that the NFL requires every team to participate in it at least once at some point. Yeah. That's bad enough. Some teams, I'm sure, are pretty frustrated with that. But the new clause that reads that every NFL team that participates also has to sign David Blau, that seems like it's going a little too far.
That's right. Magnificent David Blau, magician, quarterback.
The star of not one, but two different Hard Knocks seasons in the same year. Unbelievable.
And featuring his Olympian wife.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. His gorgeous Olympian wife.
Who's like, I gotta go, honey. I gotta go catch a plane to Arizona now. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
They were on the track during the Lions one.
Yeah.
You get two kind of opposite owners of the Colts, and then I don't think you even really heard from the Lions owner this preseason, but
no, we never. It was the star was the coach.
Yeah,
we never saw. That's a good point. We saw the Cardinals guy once in a while. He always looked very awkward, but
no, he is super awkward for sure.
He seems very weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play for him.
Yeah, and let's go to my private rich school. Yeah, there was just some things about him. I'm like, no. I mean, at least Irsay with the Colts, it's like, here's Wilson the volleyball, the prop that I bought for this auction, and then here's my guitar collection.
He's super, he's super rich. This guy is like, I don't know. I leased this plane. It's not, Actually, I had to fly this plane to make some money. So.
So yeah, Mike D, congratulations, gets the victory. I'm not sure Team Jones was paying too much attention. Started Derrick Henry, who wasn't playing that week. But a win is a win. So good on you, Mike D.
That's right. I never quit. I never give up. I'm like a kicker. I'm like a kicker in the NFL.
I love it. All right, let's move on to Grant's matchup with Justin Cook. I don't know what his team name was. It's just Cook then a pirate flag. So what to make of that, Justin? Maybe his team name this week is Our Flag is Death.
Oh, James Cook. James Cook. Yeah, there you go.
There we are.
Right, but what's the movie? Oh, Hook. Hook.
Yeah,
Got it.
Hook.
Got it.
Cook.
It's a very small. The picture is very small on my phone, so I couldn't tell that was a Hook poster.
Yeah, I couldn't see it from.
Versus still one of my favorite team names of the year, like Cousins.
That's serious.
Fine Arrested Development reference.
Yeah. All right, Grant, would you like to vent about Kirk Cousins? The floor is yours if you would like to.
I think, what's more disappointing, Justin Tucker or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no, Kirk Cousins. But I think also the way the Vikings, again, a team that slips into how? And that seems to be the dominant over the last 2 to 3 weeks of at least weekly recap shows I listen to. It's like, this team should not be where this team is at. They've got some good assets. They have some.
They won a lot of close games. Yeah, maybe got a little lucky here and there. Put up a bunch of huge numbers, but a lot of people thought they were a little overrated. Yeah,
very overrated. And Cousins always seemed like one of those maybe journeymen to keep on the bench as a QB goes. And I was mistakenly thought Watson, his first game where he broke 20, probably should have started Watson. But Watson also was responsible for lowering Nick Chubb's output as well. So that's always nice to see from the Browns coaching staff and Sean Watson. But Herbert, I was on the fence about, and LA versus LA, should have known that would have been a good outcome. And then Buffalo D, they were pretty reliable for a while, but I didn't have too much else to say other than the Cousins thing. It just seemed fitting for.
Well, hey, how about we focus on the positive? Your first round draft pick ending up as the running back number 1 overall, Austin Eckler.
I mean, that was something that was fun to watch throughout as the season progressed, because we were talking about this 10 weeks ago, Mike D.
Yep.
Charger related stuff, and it's like, oh, and then boom, turned on.
I traded him in my
Automatic
other
20
league. Yeah.
points every week. He's just like,
Yeah. And there was a couple dips here and there, like week 10, but otherwise it was like, okay, there's a good base of 20. Sounds good. Keep it up.
I mean,
Yeah, he's not
9
gonna
is
give
his
up.
floor. 9.
Yeah.
lowest output of the whole season.
Yeah. That was a good thing to see there.
That's
and there was-
Staley's fault.
Yeah, and then
Fuck you, Staley.
Juju, depending on the week.
Juju is something you got to think about for, new team, new situation, new quarterback, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
kind of. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Let me ask you this, Grant, and then I'll pose the question to you as well, Mike D. This is a redraft league, but if it were a keeper league, who's the one guy you would keep from your roster? Might be an obvious one for you, Grant. I think maybe it's a little more difficult for Mike D.
Probably
Who's
go
the
Eckler.
one guy that you would hold on to for next? Obviously, it's early. We don't know how the offseason will play out, but would you hold on to Austin Eckler, Grant, if the season if we were drafting again right now for next year?
Simply based on numbers, yeah, Eckler. I mean, the data would lead me to that conclusion.
All right. Mike D, what about you? Who do you look at in your roster and say this is the guy next season who I think is gonna have the best year?
If this was a keeper league and I only got to keep one person,
yeah, one keeper.
I would go with. This is tough because.
And again, it's early, but sort of project what next year might look like for some of these teams. You know what I mean?
Who they are. I would go with Brian Robinson Jr. That's who I'd keep.
Brian Robinson Jr. is your keeper for next year, not Christian McCaffrey or Saquon Barkley?
No, sir.
Okay.
Barkley's up in the air as far as I believed in him, but his team did not believe in him and did not give him an extension. He and Daniel Jones. McCaffrey still, he still has that. He's just getting up there. And next year, I don't know. I wouldn't keep him. I would. I don't trust Shanahan in that weird.
What about Jalen Waddle? Jalen Waddle flashed this year, man.
He did.
Brian Robinson.
I'm a big Waddle fan, but if you got to go for a running back, I can pick up a Jamar Chase if I get lucky, or any of the incoming rookie wide receivers I can hit on. But I know Brian Robinson unfairly, he did get shot and had to sit out. He was projected to, I think he'll have big numbers next year.
Okay,
you heard it here first.
Okay. Well, you've got Grant and Justin's squads pulled up right now. So, who do you like on Justin's team? Who are you guys keeping from Justin's roster for next season if that's your team? Do we like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who had a bit of a breakout this season? That's going to be a crowded wide receiving core next year with Jameson Williams or Jameis Williamson. It's one of those two, and I'm not sure which one it is, but it's one combination of those two first and last names.
Well, for me, I'd say it's between St. Brown and Hopkins. They're already saying they want to trade Hopkins, and you see if he can land with a passing quarterback.
Well, maybe New England needs to work something out where they get Kingsbury and Hopkins. Kingsbury is the OC and Hopkins is I don't know.
Yeah,
CeeDee Lamb perhaps, but you like Amon-Ra more than CeeDee Lamb next season?
For me, yes.
Grant, what do you think?
More of a what do you call it? A ceiling, or the ceiling's not there for St. Brown.
Who do you like on this team, Grant?
I would go with Gino. I had him on my watch list for a trade for a long time, and Gino seems committed to Seattle. He seems to have worked well with Carroll and their offense. I'm looking for a quarterback. He's a good journeyman. He's committed.
Okay.
He's probably got another year or two.
Now this is all thrown out the water when Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl, becomes Super Bowl MVP,
Well,
and you keep
that was the other one though too, because if I did briefly consider the way Kittle in the last 4 weeks with Purdy, they were working nicely together.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, Kittle was out for the first 3 weeks, or I think he became active week 3, but then didn't have much after that. So, but yeah,
Okay.
Gino was one where I'm like, be a good one.
See, no, this is what I like about it. I like about this is there's redraft, there's keepers, and then there's dynasty. In dynasty, you have to cut 1 or 2 people, so you got to look at it a different way of who you're going to get rid of instead of keep.
Yep, it's fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I look at Mike Evans, and I'm like, yep, Tom will be gone. How are you going to work?
Yeah, but who comes in? Maybe Jimmy comes in, or maybe Lamar comes in. Who the hell knows?
Baker.
Someone's going to win the fantasy sweepstakes, adding Lamar Jackson to their team as the quarterback. I mean, if I'm him, I'm going to Detroit. I'm going to Minnesota. There's a lot of places where there's a great offense that's ready for him to drive.
Yeah, I think it's time for me to start a Lamar Jackson podcast just every day. Talk about what he's tweeting, what he's saying, how he's feeling.
He's gone, dude. He's out of there.
Maybe he can. Maybe he can come on.
All right. Let's move on then. Congratulations to both Grant and Justin on fine seasons for you both.
Thank you.
Let's go to Country Roads Take Mahomes and versus Team Fan, which is our last matchup to cover of the week. The treasurer rolled in this one. I don't think Chris, Team Fan, was all too involved, considering he started Derek Carr, who was not even affiliated with the team anymore by the time this game rolled around. No, I'm not faulting Chris at all. It's just funny to look at see a couple of goose eggs throughout his score here.
No, I would have done something fun like that. I should have done something fun like that, like start 5 guys that aren't playing, and then start 5 guys that have a chance to play and make it 5-on-5 or something like that.
I tell you what, looking at Chris's roster, one of the guys I would consider keeping were I in that situation be Garrett Wilson. I think he's got a big season ahead of him next year.
I agree 100%, especially if you get you get a quarterback that is
an upgraded quarterback.
Yeah, you're going to get you're going to have a chance. You can even get like Garoppolo, you can get whoever.
Derek Carr, Garoppolo, Lamar. Yeah. There's a lot of guys, are going to be out there.
Just don't draft someone that will sleep with your mom's best friend, and then you're good to go.
I'm not aware of the reference. Who is left with someone's mom's best friend?
The young Wilson quarterback there for the Jets. For some reason, I can't remember his first name. He was known as the MILF. The MILF guy.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, that was preseason. His girlfriend broke up with him. He hooked up with his mom's best friend.
No,
wow.
Mike D. No. You're reading that wrong. He went to BYU, so MILF stands for Mormon. I'd like to fuck. You're reading that all wrong,
man. This show is brought to you by the Mormon Tabernacle. The show's brought to you by HBO Big. Yeah, no, he did that, and then but. I think that kind of might have had a thing where he kind of got popular, and I think he got a little confidence, that false confidence, because Yeah, he's not a good quarterback. He was not a good quarterback at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
No. Come on, Mike White, but we'll see what happens with the Jets.
We'll see what happens. Indeed, hopefully they get a better quarterback. You know who does have a good quarterback? That's Caitlin. That's Country Roads Take Mahomes. She has a good quarterback, and she named her team after him. And he rewarded her by finishing as the quarterback number 1. With almost no rushing yards whatsoever for the entire season. He's still the quarterback number 1. That's incredible.
Man,
he's fun to watch.
Without Tyreek Hill, with Travis Kelce and a bunch of also rans, he's still Patrick Mahomes. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, he can, there was no doubt for me. It was just kind of how you would fit the pieces. Man, they fit a lot of pieces, getting Tooney, getting Juju Smith-Schuster, getting going from Clyde Edwards-Helaire to, the rookie Pacheco. And then, oh my gosh, and I think he's in this game, right? And let me take a look. Let me switch channels here. Jerick McKinnon.
Oh, McKinnon was like the RB1 over the last 5 weeks of the run of the season. Unbelievable.
Yeah, pass the ball to him. You're going to get a touchdown. I mean, if you could have just started Cooper and McKinnon, you've been all right. Just 2 on 11.
Now, is good to say Mahomes would be my keeper from Caitlin's league is a little obvious from her team. So I'm going to go with Evan Ingram. I think he's going to be a popular pick for next season. What do you guys think? Who do you like on Caitlin's roster?
Let's see. Man, there's some good ones.
Mara's getting a little long in the tooth there. Keenan Allen's always, he's a dominant alpha wide receiver. He's always going to get 10 targets, so it's hard to pick against him. Is he going to stay healthy? I don't know.
Outside of my allegiance or liking the Browns, I do like how Cooper performed this season.
Sure.
Amari Cooper. I mean, whether it was with Brissett in the first half of the season and then, started to mesh with Watson when he came back. So be a good piece to have there, rotating in and out depending on the week.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Not too flashy, but reliable, it seems.
I mean, outside of Mahomes, there's 2 guys on her squad that I would expect maybe a big bounce back, and I would go with Metcalf or Kamara to maybe show like this year was kind of a fluke, and they're going to get back to business. And I think I picked DK Metcalf for that. I think I would keep Metcalf.
Okay, DK.
Yeah, disappointing. You think about like those names, DK Metcalf. You think about what do I think about? Deebo Samuel, Russell Wilson. Those guys who kind of didn't really. You drafted them high, and they kind of didn't show up for you this season.
Yep. That's definitely anyone who drafted Russell Wilson this year is definitely disappointed. I know it was Justin in our league, but in every league somebody drafted Russell Wilson, so it happened.
Yeah, and it's not I don't even think it's the McCaffrey effect of where the guy's good and he's going to get hurt for an extended period of time. Like Metcalf didn't get hurt; he played the whole season. Samuel did get hurt, but he wasn't playing well into that.
No.
And then Kamara, I don't know what, he did have legal troubles. Maybe that was just weighing on his mind. I guess then that will probably be settled during the off season.
I mean, they didn't score a lot of points as a team. So much of fantasy football is just being on a team that scores a lot of points. And the Saints were not that team this year.
Nah, you had Andy, the big red one under center.
The red rifle.
Bad Andy.
So that's it. That's the final game in the wrap up for the final season of the year. Any takeaways? Any lasting memories for the season, either fantasy related or otherwise, that you guys will remember?
Well, yeah, I mean, this podcast in general is, kicking it off with, I was old school, and I'll give Commissioner Patton all credit. He's like, let's do something like a podcast. Let's do that. I think that's a great idea.
Glad you took it and ran with it. Thank you so much, Mike D, for all the hard work you've done for this show all year.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun, and it was a competitive league. Everyone played. Everyone showed up, even to the we're already into the second round of the NFL playoffs, and we're still here. We're doing it.
Yeah, it's like that year that the World Series went into November.
That's right. That's right. And I opened. This is my first year. It was my rookie year. I was predicted to, get into the lead there, and so screw ESPN Analytics.
Well, I'm glad you brought up ESPN Analytics, Mike D, because it actually forecasted me to finish dead last.
Nice.
Didn't quite work out that way, but those are the breaks, ESPN.
Yeah, no, and it was my first ESPN experience. I'm open to all platforms. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm out of the Yahoo experience. I've transferred all my leagues over to Sleeper. No more logging into Yahoo which is a long time. I think I've have a 20-year experience there of history, but it's time to hang it up and go into Sleeper. But whatever it's decided in the Laemmle League, I'm in for the long haul.
Sure. Like all off seasons, we'll have a number of things to discuss, and maybe a migration towards the Sleeper app will be on the docket.
It's right there on your phone. That's all you need.
Mike D, thank you for participating in your rookie season, and Grant, thank you for participating in your sophomore season. And thank you both for participating in the first season of this podcast.
I like it's a good league to be in. Mike, your work week to week, the title cards that you would make.
Oh yes, yeah. I'll get back to that. This live thing is
no, it's great.
Live from Panorama City. It's the Laemmle League. No,
but no, it's a lot of fun. I do my homework leading into this.
Yeah, no, I do miss the premiere editing late nights and trying to get some movie titles and songs. So we'll definitely get back to that next season. So do a couple of live broadcasts for for ratings purposes.
Yeah, for sure. During sweeps week, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, more live remotes. I did buy a lot more equipment, so I do have live wireless mics, so we'll be able to be mobile and do something maybe in the stadium.
All right, maybe one of those NFL Europe games next season.
Yeah, live from Germany.
Could be fun.
All right, well, thank you both. It's been a great season. Thank you to everybody in the Laemmle League, and we'll see you next year. Can't wait.
Yep, definitely. Congratulations, champ, and
congratulations.
I'll look forward to how you always sign off. I'll be looking forward to taking that crown from you next season.
Come and get it, man. Come and get it.
All right, everybody. Good luck. We'll see you next season.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.